Okay, okay. All right. Okay, okay. Things I can do and things I can't do. Hi, Ellis.
Hey,
Okay, okay.
how are we all doing?
We're gonna be waiting a little bit, and I'm gonna be trying to console my kid here.
That's totally cool.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're just tired. You're just tired. Alright. Alright, maybe I'll mute. How about that? No one wants to hear a baby crying.
Oh no, I have to be a distraction for 5 minutes. Hello everyone. Oh dear. So how's the fish? Shit, I'm bad at this. Bram, get on here. Don't leave me here. All right. So, not a lot has been going on, I suppose. Well, actually, I haven't checked the news. Let me do that in just
You're good. I know. I gotta click the mouse button. Let me click the mouse button.
Facebook, do your magic news powers.
Magic news towers. Oh, I know. You're tired. Alright, he was about to sleep. It's okay. Alright, how about the rock? The rocking boat?
It's okay, little guy. Alright, little one.
You want that? Alright. Okay. Way to run a show, huh?
Yeah.
There we go.
Aaron's here! Yes! I don't have to.
He doesn't seem to be on yet. Okay, how about that?
And James! You guys can't dismiss me.
Alright. Maybe. Okay. Alright, maybe I'm muting back. I'm sorry.
Come on. Oh, God.
Alright, maybe I'm muting back. I'm sorry.
Okay. Alright. I think we've equalized. So, James, how are things going? Eric? Wait, can people hear me at all?
Okay. Let's see. Something. All right. Come on. It's transmitting. That's weird. James, it says you're talking, but I can't hear your mic. All right. Looks like Eric is going to be in a few. Oh, who joined? Oh, Truxney. Welcome, my friend.
Oh, Truxney.
Yes, James. All right. We can have a conversation. And I'll have to pretend like I'm talking into a for an hour.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? When Evan's beautiful kid was crying, I was saying, somebody out there's lactating. You guys understand that, right? Okay, so what happens usually when a baby cries, and I know Broken knows this, is that when a baby cries, it actually sends off a natural reaction to a mother to start lactating if she's breastfeeding. So it could be another woman walking by, and if some kid starts crying, they just start dripping. I mean, not to get too real, but that's nature. Though when I was saying that Evan's kid's crying, which is normal for a baby, they're just testing the world. I was saying that somebody out there is probably lactating. If they're,
I think James is becoming Snork's apprentice.
I did, James. I did. Been there, brother. Been there.
Yeah, Troxy. I think I'm trying. I wish I was as smart as that guy. God, that would.
You have now joined the Snork side of the force.
I am in the dark side. I'm totally okay with that. So up here in Anaheim, we have the Anaheim Convention Center. And we have Comic-Cons, and not Comic-Con. Comic-Con's usually in San Diego. But we have we have VidCon, we have Blizzard, BlizzCon.
MLG.
We have a lot of things that happen out here. And I'm telling you, I think we had a Star Wars about 2 years ago or a year ago, or
Yeah, the celebration.
yes, and it was. I have pictures, and it was nuts. It was freaking nuts. I took pictures with like 10 Chewbacca's. It was like 50 Darth Vader. There's like 1,000 Darth Vader. There were stormtroopers everywhere. I was totally outmanned.
You filthy rebel scum.
Yeah, totally. It was awesome, dude. I was just waiting for the Millennium Falcon to park.
I'm sure it was around somewhere.
Yeah.
By the way, so Kelley will be hosting, and tonight we're actually going to be talking about Russia.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russia's awesome. Russia. Okay, but before we go on, I was listening to the news. I listened to this. You guys got to check it out. It's called KPFK. Just go online. I'm gonna put it up real fast, and there's a lot of really good information. It's progressive, kind of democratic, but the people that they have on there, Democracy Now! is embedded in this website and on this FM channel that comes on throughout the East Coast. And I'm going to just show you real quick.
Jimmy Dore's on there too.
Yeah, Jimmy Dore's on there too. Yeah, so it's a great source of just talk radio, which is good as well. And this guy was on talking about the new Trump care package, which is just if that actually happens, there's going to be people are going to be pissed as hell, and a lot of those people will be Republicans, and a lot of Republicans own firearms. That's all I have to say. The other thing that I heard was on that show, and it was Aaron Masters or Ian Masters, which is the background briefing he has on there. Is in regards to Russia, they're having an outside sourced company that's chosen by the Democratic Party and all their elites and the FBI to create a quote unquote unbiased search or investigation. Which you know how that's going to go. Is anybody following that? Am I?
Yeah.
I just got here.
Yeah, I was following.
I'm sorry, James. You were muted this whole time.
What?
Oh, triggered.
We're triggered!
We're all triggered. Everybody's triggered here.
No, but I really think.
Although I think the person who's probably been triggered the most this week is probably Sam Cedar.
Sham Cedar?
Oh, I watched that. Sham Cedar.
He was so triggered.
Lit up.
Also, Michael
Oh,
Brooks.
he was shit triggered.
Yeah.
I need to. Did
Ben
he?
Dixon, you need to find new friends.
Did he make a new video like regarding the Tim Black?
He called in a hole, dude. He's in a hole.
Oh, triggered! Oh, my name is Sam Cedar. I'm so triggered. Ah!
He is. He's so triggered. Oh, wow. That's the first time I've seen you without your sunglasses on.
Oh, yeah, wow. I missed that.
Me too. Oh no, I didn't. Because I missed it only because he's looking down when I looked up and he put sunglasses on.
I wanted to do that just for fun. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. But I'm gonna do it again when
you least when you least expect it.
Yeah, just surprise us at some point, you know. We'll all yell triggered.
To be true. You know, I didn't think it was possible that Sam Cedar would take any retribution for the shit he pulled on Jimmy, and I was totally wrong. He got his fucking just deserved.
Sam Cedar just like very triggered.
It never pays to be a douchebag to your friends, especially when they have no chance to respond to you.
Well, I said that if people's ears burn when you're talking about them, his whole studio burst into flames after us thinking about him. So, I got no use for him. He brought the next day he brought on Dave Weagle. So I mean, you know,
Weasel.
Oh yeah,
give me a break.
Hey,
The Weasel, the bionic mustache came on the next fucking day. I'm sorry, Roland. I didn't mean to swear.
It's like fucking Dave Rubin. I know it's like Dave Rubin. It's just like, oh no, I don't believe in white nationalism. I just happen to bring on all these white nationalists and totally agree with most of what they. Hey, it's the darndest thing, no?
Yeah, well, Sam likes that MSNBC money, and you can't cross the corporate line even on your own program. You know, you built your own platform just to be the MSNBC's whipping boy. You know.
Oh Jesus, that's what disappoints me about Sam Cedar the most. Is just that well, yeah, he might be one of the more progressive voices at MSNBC, but saying you're one of the more progressive voices at MSNBC is kind of like winning a lottery with only 5 people competing in it.
I've seen him a few times. He's not. He'll go with the flow. He'll go with the flow of what the program is. He won't. You know, it's a rare occasion you see him speak without agreeing with like 2 other people on the panel. You know, he'll support their points, but he won't either be the lone voice of reason, or he's sold out. You know, that's, you gotta understand.
No, you can't sell out when they don't offer you anything. He's never gonna be a sellout because he's already touting the MSM narrative for cheap. So he's not really a sellout. He's just a sham.
Well, he might be a sellout in principles, but in terms of raking in that moolah, he's gonna remain space poor.
It was frustrating watching Tim Black's call-in to his show, because I didn't feel like he nailed him for Sam Cedar's subscribers.
Did anyone notice?
Maybe he could have woke a few of them up, but I didn't feel like he managed it. Tim Black just seemed shocked, kept saying wow, because the things Sam Cedar said were just so outrageous to him.
Well, here's the thing: is the people who are watching Sham Cedar a while ago. They probably left the train a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the reason why there's a bigger thing when Jordan Sheridan did his little hit piece on HA and Tim and Nico is that he was the progressives that we always listed in the whole truth telling like news, indie news type of thing, and he just kind of went overboard. But with Sham Cedar, we knew he wasn't the progressive.
Yeah, but if he could have countered him effectively, maybe some of his subscribers would have thought, I'll check this Tim Black guy out.
Maybe, but like, to me, like Sam Cedar is such a fucking odious person because say what you will about Jordan Sheridan and David Pakman, at least it was kind of assumed that these people weren't that the people he goes out and criticizes are not people he's fucking friends with to begin with. But the problem I have with, like, that's what made me so angry about the whole Jimmy Dore thing. This is because, to my understanding, Sam Cedar and Jimmy Dore were friends. Yeah, Jimmy argues fearlessly with his friends all the time, but he knows there's a certain line he won't cross. And that's what pisses me off. It's because Sam Cedar essentially not only abused that trust, but he used it to rake a friend of his over the fucking cult so that he could make a bigger name for himself in the mainstream. And that, to me, is so fucking unforgivable.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
like,
and you got to remember, too, Sam, Sam comes into this with a whole different worldview of what's right and what's wrong. Sam looks at it like his logic is infallible, first off. And you got to remember, too, his going after Jimmy Dore, that's another one of the MSNBC lines. Jimmy Dore crossed the line that was one of the big MSNBC no-nos. So there's that. But there's also, he starts from the point of Hillary was a perfectly reasonable candidate, which is bullshit. Hillary would have won had we all just sucked it up and went and voted for her, which, what his point is like the Jill Stein. Well, you know what? I'd have stayed home before. Well, I wouldn't have stayed home. I would have just voted for the Communist Party, whatever. I would have voted another third party or not voted for the president. I wouldn't put you do that, once you start from that point, once you start from the point where Nancy Pelosi's a good leader, he'll say, well, she's good at getting votes together. That's wrong. She's good at forcing the progressives within her caucus to suck it and so they can put through a corporate line. And she caters to the most right wing and beats up on the most left wing members of her party to get her votes. And I saw her today talking about how they asked her about this idea of her getting out of the way. Well, a couple people. No, it's not a couple of her. I realize she can't be voted out without the House of Representatives members.
But who's a good person to replace Hillary Clinton? Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She wins all the time. Oh,
I saw her for a couple seconds today before I quick hit the sound. Yeah, I saw she's still going on television. She was on CNN, so talking about, actually, she came on CNN to tell us how great Nancy Pelosi was, if I remember right. Yeah, no shit. That's who I need. That's who I need. Yeah. That if I'm gonna take advice as to who's a great leader in the House of Representatives, ain't gonna come from little Debbie, All right.
Yeah,
I'm shutting up.
Let's go and fucking trust the person who who may or may not be sending out hit squads on people who cross her bottom line. Alright, yeah, that's totally the person I want to fucking get myself involved with and trust to be a good leader.
No one should trust Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Oh, I do. She's the best. I think she's our hope for the Democratic National Party. What was it? Shamseater called Nancy Pelosi a great leader.
That shit
people actually say that?
Yeah, I believe he did say that. I don't know if I got the exact quote right, but yeah, he said something about Nancy Pelosi as being a great leader.
They ain't worth a shit.
She's only good at getting herself reelected, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Then again, if you're already in that office, your chances of being reelected are so ludicrously high that it's not really a giant accomplishment.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying Garden and someone doesn't like me talking about how great Nancy Pelosi is.
Oh.
Or how great Debbie Wasserman Schultz is.
Yeah, no, all of Sam's friends say how great Nancy Pelosi is.
Who else is great?
That Kamala Harris fellow. No, Cory Booker. Cory Booker's so amazing.
He's an incredible progressive. He's you know what? He's the hope for the Democratic Party.
Yeah. If Russia doesn't interfere with our next election, he'll be the next president of the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Not if I have anything to do with it.
There's also those Costello brothers, although I think there might be a bit of a problem because you can only put one person in the presidency.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. The other person that they're going to push is Kristen Gillibrand. They're keeping her a little bit behind all these others that are, I think, to some extent, they push out some candidates early to be sort of fall guys for the eventual person. You know, they'll try them out and see if Cory Booker's going to sell or whoever. But I think they really, really like to keep her in the background a little bit. And they just tout like, "Ooh, look at how progressive votes have been. Look at this, you know, look at that." So just hey, trust me, she's going to be out there. Kamala Harris, someone that's another one. That's those two, except for Kamala's already out there a little bit. She hasn't paid her dues enough in DC yet, I don't think. To, you know.
We're triggering some people, Eric. Let's keep pushing this mainstream media narrative. We triggered Garden enough so he came in.
That's what fake news does. It triggers people. Triggered!
I don't watch MSNBC, so I watch CNN all day. I got that on like background usually.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
You know,
by the way,
I get a whole nother flavor.
By the way,
Garden Gnome, and we got Ariel, my wood dragon goat sister from another miss.
By the way, so people who don't know, tomorrow at 3 p.m., Ariel is going to be giving me a astrology report. So
really excited.
Yeah, if you want to understand, I think she's gonna go through it like I'm a total beginner. Because when she talks with Jamaral, it's way over my head. So we'll see. I'll see if she can get us noobs to understand it, and then
3 Eastern or Western.
Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay. And then tomorrow night, Garden and Bram and I are gonna just do a little thing on sci-fi, I guess.
Oh, cool.
We're gonna try to do like a computer one, me and Bram. How good are you, Garden? Maybe Snort.
I don't know,
dude.
Like, you guys are sitting here tearing down Booker, you're tearing down Pelosi. I'm just not sure if I want to be a part of this little going on.
Hey, are we
See ya!
We haven't even talked about Pac-Man yet.
Yeah, you don't want to associate with us conspiracy theorists, Garden.
Right now.
You don't want to associate with us conspiracy theorists.
No, I don't. Goodbye.
We're just like a giant cabal.
All right, Kelley. Kelley's here. Now we get to talk about Russia.
Where's my tinfoil hat?
Sorry, can I just short introduction here? Are you in the middle of a serious topic yet?
Yes, we're talking about great leaders like Nancy Pelosi, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and Cory Booker.
No, actually, wait.
And Sam Cedar.
And Sam Cedar. He's gonna be like the biggest.
Sam.
And that's another one, Sam. Now that man is like, he's been on a platform for years, sticking up for people like you and I.
So I just want to tell you.
Shit.
I'm going to tell you a funny. I think it's funny about why I'm a little late. Other than that, it's summer and my daughter's up later. So and Tim's been shorter, so I'm like, I'm rushing. Anyway, so my husband got a different monitor and had all this cord spaghetti under the desk in here where I like to sit. And so I couldn't like clean the floor easily because there's cords everywhere. So I left him a note this morning on his desk, please clean up the cord spaghetti. And the fan is on and I didn't want the note to blow away. So I put he has this on his desk. Can anybody see?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whoop-ass.
The can of whoop-ass. So I put this on the note, like, please move the cords because I'm trying to clean the floor and there's all this stuff under there. Anyway,
get a pair of bunnies, and then you'll have to get rid of your cords because the rabbits will snip them right up.
Oh, right. They might chew them, would they?
Oh, they do.
So he's under the desk still right here, but I'm not going to show you plumber butt. So anyway, there we go. He can stay there.
My little Petey bunny, he has snipped cell phone cords, computer cords, light cords. My little postal scale that I use for eBay, he got the cord on that. I mean, mine is very well behaved, but Petey, forget it. He will snip things real quick.
It can be dangerous. One of my technically half sisters, her puppy, she got a new puppy and it electrocuted. It killed it.
Oh no!
This was like a long time ago, but yeah.
Rabbits' mouths aren't as they don't have as much saliva as dogs, so they don't have as much of a conduit, for electricity. Which
it was terrible. But anyway, on that happy note, so I have a new hobby, which is reading the Congress.gov. My God, no wonder nobody gets this stuff right, because you're just searching forever just to get to like the nitty gritty, So do we want to pick up at all just where we kind of left off, Yvonne, which was some confusion with that whole the bill? I guess we got it straight. It was just that Bernie the Real News Network report was accurate. I do want to point that out because somebody else, I think it was, is it Aeolus? What's his name?
Aeolus, yeah.
Okay, because I don't know if it was him. Somebody was like, well, maybe the Real News Network isn't real. I haven't had a thing with, we're all suspicious, of course, of any outlet at this point. Like I said, I talked to Paul J. I really thought a lot about him and what he's doing. I haven't seen anything to make me go, this isn't legit. And that was a Max Blumenthal report. But it was true that while Bernie voted against the bill, he clarified that it was really because of the Iran sanctions, not the Russia sanctions. And then, of course, there was that statement that Bernie put out, which is terribly disappointing and makes me like, I don't know if I can do the draft Bernie thing, really, because of that, because he was for it. But, I think that that gets to another topic of how they do this on purpose. Like, we've known this for a long time. They always call it pork. You know, they put other things inside bills to pass them through, so the public doesn't know, or, you know, they try to sandwich it all together to pass it through. And I kind of got a little suspicious about Iran being in that. Like, did they do that way on purpose?
Yeah, that's their end goal, Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Iran thing, that's what I said the other night was, I was off chewing on some cords for a second. So, the Iran thing was because they want to get rid of the agreement, the nuclear agreement, and because they need something to preface a war with. So they want to get rid of the agreement, then they can, at any second say, oh, they got it, they've got this and that there, we got to blow them up, and so there's that. And then he was against it. His biggest reason for being against it, besides that, was because they introduced it the same day there was a terrorist attack in Tehran. So it would be like if we had, on 9/11, if, we put sanctions on, somebody put sanctions on the United States on 9/11. That's what it would be like to us. We'd go nuts when some guy that has a Muslim name or a Muslim sounding name, stabs somebody. It's instantly a terrorist attack. And that guy that did stab the cop did sound like he was doing some, but I mean, the thing about it is, one thing's a terrorist attack, one thing isn't in America, and there's no real definition except for if you're a Muslim, basically.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not going to pretend I know everything I'd hope to know by tonight, because there's like I said, there's just so much digging and so much to understand about, the NATO agreements and everything. So, but I don't know if we can have it kind of be, as I find stuff, I'll share it. One thing I really noticed, of course, as usual, all the mainstream media, the slant about this. I mean, to me, it does sound like straight up McCarthyism. I mean, I've got to go back and watch Good Night and Good Luck.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, great one.
I think that's really scary, and I'm just kind of baffled at how far it's gone. The Chuck Schumer's remarks. Let me pull this up. Really, just.
Another great leader in the.
Oh yes, yeah, but I mean the things they're saying. It is. I guess McCarthyism is too far in the past now. Most people don't know, or a lot of people don't know about it. Maybe But yeah, Washington Post is of course the worst. LA Times, they have a couple of writers that tend to be pretty neutral. This one wasn't. So I've been digging and digging.
They've been getting less neutral these days, the LA Times.
Yeah, I agree.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, that's like we just don't know where to turn. But I did want to point that out about Real News Network, because
I know where to turn. I know where to turn. Where you turn is you turn here.
Yeah.
This is where you turn.
Well, I'm going to take this on as my news thing.
Everything.
Yeah, I admit I've been kind of caught up in a lot of, I don't want to say indie media infighting, but some of that drama going on, and I don't know, I'm trying to get back to really digging for information, so I'm going to try to be maybe bring that what I find here, but it's not easy. There aren't many places to go. I personally really like Ed Schultz a lot. He's on RT, but I like him, so I watch that. But again, I want to see the actual evidence. I want to see the vote, like you said. Ebon. Just go straight to the source. But digging through those documents is time consuming. So you can see why we have so many lazy journalists now.
Yeah.
They make it that way. They don't make research easy. It's intentional. You can write a bill that you can summarize bills, and they do that. They have a summary, but even the summary itself can be confusing, so you have to reference back to the bill.
And a lot of bills reference other bills, and then some of those bills already have amendments to them, so you have to go to the amendment of that bill. All this other stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, just real quick, because I had to look it up to get the name right. If you want to watch a good movie, watch. It's called Point of Order, from 1964. It's about the McCarthy hearings, and it's a fantastic. Yeah, it's the actual McCarthy hearings. Yeah. It's just edited down to a sort of, you can watch it in sort of a dramatic fashion, and it will give you. I mean, besides all the question, they don't show you all. It's because he's the one on trial at this point. He's not. So it's a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna watch that.
Roy Cohn and all those guys. Ugh.
Yep.
Wow.
Trump's lawyer.
Yep.
You know what's sad though? That movie probably wouldn't hold most people now attention span for 5 seconds.
Well, you just gotta add in and edit in some explosions, and you'll be set.
Right.
You know what? I will tell you this. It does. It's every bit as good as anything you've seen in a movie theater.
Oh no, for me, I like that stuff, but I'm saying, I don't know, the general public, us maybe, yes, we would.
Well, I'm telling you, the general public could watch this movie and like it, or they could just. I'll tell you what, they could strip out the whole thing, shoot it in black and white, have an all-star cast, and it would still hold up the same way. And the original might be better because they aren't acting.
All right. Well, maybe we'll start tweeting out, I don't know, if we can find clips from it or something. That would be interesting.
It's also a matter of context. If you frame it to people in a way that explains that this has a lot of relevance to what we're experiencing right now, it's kind of the learning from the past thing, is to really help people to understand that you want to understand the past so that you can figure out the future and the present. It's, if we don't learn these things, they keep coming around until we learn them. I mean, it's just, that's why I love history.
It's the same playbook, and that's why it's easy to beat, but no one's really beaten it yet.
No, and oh,
sorry.
So cute.
I start wanting to walk like this and rock when I hear that sound.
Yeah.
My older daughter had colic, and I would do that. You'd stand there and bounce, and then I realized I was doing that. I was so sleep deprived, and I wasn't holding her, and I was just still going to that.
Oh gosh.
Things that happen when you have kids. So what were you saying?
Well, one fun activity we might want to try is putting a Rachel Maddow clip or something up, and then having us all tear it apart.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Go
kind
hard
of
bastard
Jimmy
style.
Dore.
Yeah, we could do that as a group, I think.
Yeah, hard bastard, Jimmy Dore. Yeah, they do it well.
So
I like doing that kind of stuff, though.
What?
I like doing that kind of stuff. Me, I like to hilariously tear stuff apart.
Yeah. Let's do it. So my husband said there was a thing about, I think it was Rachel Maddow, I haven't had time to check, that said maybe Ossoff lost because of the weather. They were blaming the weather.
Ridiculous.
It has been awful.
She has a Russia fetish.
It's true. It's a good Russian strategy. I mean, that's
Who's
why you
laughing like that?
That's how you
The Russians built weather machines to control the weather.
Yeah.
They're manipulating our very elections instead of
Rachel Maddow
to dismantle the United States military because reasons.
They brought in a fog machine, and it was all over.
This whole week in Atlanta, even today, it was just pouring and pouring. We got a lot of erosion all around because it's just I feel like I'm gonna lose my mind. It's been raining so.
Oh.
Bear triggered.
Yeah, it's not much better up here.
I'm so triggered.
So I'm going to, pardon me, just to get back to the right page. On
Russia. Okay, let's keep going.
Congress.gov. It's going to take me a second.
Okay.
Because it's slower than Christmas to get back to the page where it had Chuck Schumer's quote. I just have to read that.
My favorite part is we already lost to Russia, so what are we going to do? I mean, our CIA lost to Russia. Our election system lost to Russia. Our hackers lost to Russia. They just installed Trump as president. So what are we going to do? We're going to resist?
Dang it, Russia.
Well, you guys are aware that Trump serves Stoli in almost all of his hotels, right?
And he has Trump vodka, doesn't he? He had Trump vodka.
He gets deals, dude. He gets deals on it.
Well,
the next thing you know, he's going to start selling uranium to them.
You know, like, he's going to sell our own uranium to us. Right.
Vaughn, I'm sending you a link right now on DM for that movie. It's a YouTube link.
You know, like, the big problem with getting people from business who know how to cut deals is that people seem to forget that who is this guy cutting deals for? That when you're a business person, you're trained to make deals to enrich yourself. So, what did you expect was going to happen?
People just don't understand the way international business works, it seems. You know? I mean, we're in a global market now. The U.S. has been dumping money into Russia for a long time after they collapsed.
Yep.
And,
right.
you know, this is the way business works. And, you know, half of our elected officials at the at the federal level at least, have had some sort of dealing with Russia or Russians.
Yeah, so it's like Broken was saying that, of course, you know, Trump's got some dealings in that regard because he's an international businessman. It's like they're just digging and digging. They know they don't have evidence on the other stuff, so they're just digging for something they can get him with. So
hey, listen, I was saying earlier. Hold on, thank you. I was saying earlier that it was on KPFK where this guy that was on was mentioned. He mentioned quickly that the FBI or the Democrats have an independent company or firm that's going to be investigating Russia, the Russian hack, to prove that Trump is guilty of and Russia colluding to take down the chance of Hillary winning the election. So that's the new talking point, or not talking point, but I think that's the new insertion into the media that they're going to start putting to create this, I guess, a narrative or just to back themselves to say at some point, well, this company is unbiased and went in and did this investigation, and now they're showing that definitely there was something done. I just think they're going to try to manufacture evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they already had CrowdStrike do that.
I was here.
So that's where, and that's the evidence that they handed to the FBI originally. So that's what they're all spent. That's what the whole Russia thing is held up by, is CrowdStrike, a company that got the wrong info when they said the Russians had hacked into, I think it was a Ukrainian artillery software, and it wasn't. So, you know.
Yeah, that's what Mick Fall said to me when I got in an argument with him. I couldn't believe he answered me. he had to try to shame me into voting for Hillary. But yeah, he said, "Oh, CrowdStrike proved this." Well, I said that's a private company. And furthermore, does anyone know more about okay, so the DNC didn't let the FBI look at their servers. How is that how did that just get let go? That
well, remember
issue to me.
Well, they didn't have.
Remember too that Debbie's cousin's son or something was running those servers. He was the one that did the whole van thing with
NGP van or something.
When they took away Bernie's info because they said he was spying on the other side, that was him dropping the firewall. So yeah, it's all shady. Who knows what's on that server that little Debbie doesn't want us to see.
Dirty Debbie. I still like to call her Dirty Debbie.
She does kind of look like little Debbie. She's like a mean, angry, unpleasant little Debbie.
Yeah.
She's little Debbie that grew up and has depression from all the sugar.
Yeah,
really
24/7.
Gollum in Lord of the Rings, and it's like the longer she's got that corrupt power, the more decrepit she's looking. It's like it corrupts from the inside out. She's a scary looking person. It's one of those things that's like, a lot of times it's like you can't tell by the outside of somebody, but with her, it's like it's almost like she's so corrupted it's coming out. It's like
yeah. She's got that Dirty Debbie dirt water look,
Yeah.
She's starting to look more and more like a leather couch.
No, I'm going to. My husband just said the Emperor from Star Wars.
Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a bunch of things that they call Debbie Wasserman Schultz on the internet. They call her a dude named Debbie. They call her
a dude named Debbie.
I like Citizen Debs. She says little Debbie is full of GMOs anyway. It's fitting.
Let's see.
Those things are terrible for you.
Yeah.
What else was another one? What was it?
She's some kind of Florida swamp witch, basically,
Oh, it's so
crawled
true.
out of the damn swamp.
She's one of those invasive snakes that took over Florida.
Oh, they call her a
Goes
horse.
around killing manatees for fun. It's sick.
They call
They make her evil spells.
They call her a horse too.
Momo needs to put the little Debbie hair on that picture of Emperor Palpatine.
So I know someone had a picture of Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Jar Jar Binks merged together, and they were saying that she's the Jar Jar of politics.
The Jar Jar Sith.
Wow.
Yes, I think we need to do more of this, putting pictures and stuff up. It'll be more entertaining that way. That's good.
I don't want to overdo it. I just do it for a few seconds, let people see what we're gonna.
No, that's great. That's great.
I'm quick on the draw with that, obviously.
Yes, you are. Okay.
So it's not CrowdStrike. They want to appoint some new company. I heard. That's
Say that
what
again?
Oh.
Yeah,
they're going to pay another company to look at it and give them the answers.
There's talk. It was on KPFK. This guy was talking. That they want to create a more substantial company that's better. I don't know, more reputable, right? Or supposedly more reputable.
Do you know what the name of it was?
It's for when the politicians won't listen.
Yeah, we need to have that up on the list. Sure.
Oh wait, I got to find that.
That's funny.
We need to have that on the hill.
Yeah. Just as a symbol, not use it, but as a symbol, it should be sitting up there.
No, we have to use it a couple times just for them to get it.
Yeah,
Well, no, I mean
we'll have Kissinger and Cheney go down to be the first uses.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
For their freaking war crimes.
Yeah, Cheney, Rumsfeld, Kissinger, Brenner. I don't know how many of you guys know about Brenner. I didn't learn about him until I listened to the Dalat, but he is the one who really effed up Iraq. Because we should have never gone there in the first place, but once we did, we had opportunities to actually make a positive change over there. And every single opportunity he went in the worst possible way you could go.
Kissinger would probably die on the way up the hill.
Yeah, I hope he wouldn't. Because then we wouldn't get any satisfaction. That bastard. He needs to have he needs to serve as a symbol.
Yeah.
I'm saying this: put a paper bag over his head beforehand because his face is hideous.
Yeah.
The Kissinger's. That the French wanted the guillotine, and it was the guy. His last name was Guillotine, and he was the one that was credited with its invention, even though it was actually there were prototypes before him. But they wanted it because the old guard had been so brutal for many hundreds of years. I mean, you think about kind of the medieval torture system of dismembering and tearing people apart and the rack and all the different things that they did. And so, the French were sick of torture. They didn't like the idea of torture. And Maximilien Robespierre, he was one of the big spearheads of the revolution. And their whole idea in the beginning was, they didn't really want the violence. And then when they started, the jails and everything started, filling up with all the monarchy and the bourgeoisie, and there was that it was for years there was that question, what are we going to do with them? Because and it took a long time. It's not like they just grabbed Marie Antoinette and Louis and just chopped their heads off. That it took years before they made the decision to actually do it. And so the guillotine was seen as a much more merciful way because it was so quick. Nobody's come back from it, but relatively, you would imagine it's relatively painless because it happens so fast. And it's not like the old way of having guys with hatchets and half the time they wouldn't get the whole head off. And, it's just, and the way that they saw that was the way they did it to us. They've been torturing us and doing all these awful things, all these barbaric methods. And the guillotine scene is quick and painless and a much more humane way to get rid of people. But yeah, it took them a while before they resorted to doing that. It took a while. And it's funny because Robespierre, who started out as this very pacifistic guy, in the beginning, he was like, no, we're not going to kill anyone. By the end, he basically orchestrated the Reign of Terror. And under him, it was like, all right, we'll keep killing them. Can't have them around. Anybody that was seen as, and it did. That's why you got to be careful of whatever it is that you resist against, because he almost became the thing that he was fighting against in the beginning, and as a result, guess what? His own people grabbed him, and he got the guillotine in the end. So it's kind of like
during, if I'm remembering my Tale of Two Cities right, there was a character named Madame Lafarge, and her character would sit there, and while they were running the guillotine, against the muckety mucks, she would knit.
Yeah.
So I always say, if they bring the big guillotine to Wall Street, I'll sit and knit.
There wasn't a whole lot else to do those days, like, well, and how else? I mean, a lot of people, by the time the Reign of Terror became a thing, people were very afraid to be seen or heard as being against the revolution. So what better way to prove your loyalty to the revolution than to sit there and watch the bourgeoisie's heads roll? So, yeah, you'd have lots of ladies sitting there knitting and talking and, hanging out.
All right, Lucas, can you put it? Thank you. Oh, sorry, I lost you guys for a bit. Where did we end up?
Talking about guillotines.
Yeah.
Wait, why are we talking about France? It's supposed to be Russia.
All right.
Well, Well, the
Sorry.
French did try to invade Russia once. And that didn't work out so well for them.
Oh,
It never works out too well, does it? Invading Russia.
so
No.
one thing I want to ask.
Although, you know what? There's one place that's even worse than trying to invade Russia, and that's the
We can't.
Fin. Never try to invade the Fin.
We couldn't hear you. It was garbled. It was.
No. I was saying, there's only one place that
Oh.
you try and invade during the winter than Russia, and that is Finland.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask. I was just going to ask Stroxny. I was going to ask Stroxny quick what's the word in his country is about Russia. What's the general, meme they're pushing out in the news?
Oh, it's the same. They just copy the American news pretty much, and
Really?
UK news. So
Wow.
Well,
don't do any investigation on our own.
yeah.
But
That
I heard that Germany, their intelligence services, they had looked into Russian collusion during the election, and they found little evidence.
In the U.S. election, or French or German?
In the U.S. and the German election. In the German election, they found zero evidence, and in the American, they found little.
Yeah, because the word is that from all the politicians that are on C-SPAN and stuff, the word is that there's no doubt that they've been taking over Europe, and they definitely did the United States. So I wanted to know what the word was there, because you guys, you get different news. I thought, but maybe you don't.
I wish we got more of the opposite, like from RT and stuff, but it's not included.
Wow.
Do you have much domestic alternative media there?
Not that I know of.
Oh,
That's depressing.
We have 3 or 4 newspapers online that are big, and then we have national. Not sure what you would call it in English.
Wait, where are you?
I'm in Norway.
Oh. Wow.
I was just interested to know if there was a different vibe. So let's get back on Russia.
We do have a government funded broadcasting company called NRK, and I don't pay much attention to it, but that may be a better source for information.
Who knows?
I can't find my Schumer quote. Sorry, I'm.
A Schumer quote? You mean for every blue collar worker we lose in Pennsylvania, we'll pick up 2 or 3 moderate Republicans in the suburbs of Philadelphia?
Yeah, no, it was one. It's in this Congress, whatever, many pages of it, and I've been trying to find it, and I can't get back to it. So I'll find it at some point. I think it may have been repeated in the Washington Post or somewhere, but he basically, it's just all speculation. It'd be better if I read it, but it was just more of the same, and it was like, could this be possible? It likely, it's just speculation, and it's just McCarthyism, and I don't understand.
It's all just a distraction.
Fear mongering, and yeah.
It's a distraction. They've been trying to distract us from something they've been hiding and sweeping under the rug as much as possible. The DNC fraud case is one. Deathrich, Lucas, all this stuff should be mainstream news.
Well, and the economic collapse too. There's a huge economic collapse about to happen. Probably they think bigger than the Great Depression, just based solely on the number of bubbles about to pop. Because there's the Australian housing bubble, the Canadian housing bubble, the American housing bubble that never burst, the UK housing bubble. There's Greece still is a huge problem. Brexit, Puerto Rico, the United States debt's getting out of control. The student loan crisis, the subprime,
that's probably the big.
the subprime car loans.
Yeah.
And now that Dodd-Frank's been repealed, there's the subprime mortgage crisis has started over again. And so, yeah, there's just the convergence of all these different things coming together is going to be really, really bad.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second.
Oh, she found it. All right, so the biggest problem I think with Russia, and I'm just going to say this, is most of us that have done the research, checked our sources, done our due diligence, do not see any ties of any collusion regarding an election hacking. We see deals being made and oil and uranium and goods and services and the global marketing and international trade. That's been happening with us and every country on the planet. And you can pick frickin' both sides of the aisle, every other day that's doing some kind of deal with some country that we probably shouldn't be doing a deal with, but it's happening all the time.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Like Saudi Arabia, $350 billion.
Right.
That wasn't going to happen with Hillary in office. That would have happened anyway. Yeah. That's my perspective. I think she would have done it as well because she's super close to the Saudis.
Yeah. So, staying on the Russian topic, someone's got some feedback.
Not our.
YouTube.
Okay, I think I.
Test. Oh, it's Ariel. You need to mute your YouTube stream. Okay, I think that's better. Nope, it's not.
No, mine is never on. I don't ever have the YouTube sound on.
But when I mute you, we don't get the feedback. So something's weird.
Darn.
Check. I don't think it's me.
Yeah, it's Ariel. I muted Ariel. Sorry, Ariel. Okay. So what does everyone think about RT America? Do you guys think
RT puts out some good programming?
Yep. But a lot of people, if you mention RT, they go.
I mean, you have to kind of take all these networks with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But when you compare RT to like any of the American networks, I mean, there is no comparison.
Yeah, it's true.
And like besides like Lee Camp, anybody else on there, if they're talking about Russian news, I wouldn't necessarily, it's a tough right now. I mean, as far as how accurate the RT, each one is. I only really watch Lee every week. That's the only one I know for sure. But I don't watch RT for news about Russia. I watch RT for news about the United States.
Yeah, I think if you watch, I love Ed Schultz and Larry King live. Not Larry King live, Larry King. But yeah, if you watch some of the news that comes on RT like late at night, although it's now gone from the Roku. Did anybody know that?
No.
Yep, the RT app is now gone, and I noticed it, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I just kind of thought there was an issue. Our Roku player is pretty old, and I didn't think much of it. And then I found something on Reddit about it, and people were saying, oh yeah, it got, interesting. The RT app is gone from the Roku.
Yeah.
So I actually tweeted out at Roku and said, basically, is this, censorship? Why is this gone? And they responded to me on Twitter and said that it was removed at request of RT.
Huh.
Which, who knows?
So another follow-up question to that. We do know that Vladimir Putin, he censors things in his country, but he doesn't censor RT America very much. Do you think it's a strategic position on his part, or why do you think that is?
I think it's partly because to get American talent, that's part of the, at least I think that with most of these people, he's getting, they get alternative type commentators and news people and stuff. You know, they're not getting the usual, you know, other than Larry King. I mean, you know, but Larry King is, you know, Larry King does the third party debates every presidential election. You know, I mean, I think Larry King's a whole lot more progressive than CNN ever was. But I mean, but RT, I think RT America, the people they've got on there are the kind of people that tell them get screwed if they, you know. And, you know, who knows? Maybe there are topics they don't touch because, you know, or you don't go hard on. But they certainly, I don't think these people would go. I don't think the people that are on RT America would do a cover up. They're not those kind of people.
Well, it's convenient.
I'm just curious what you think about like Putin's censor. Like, how are you defining censorship? Because like the way that Putin does censorship over there is no different from how Obama or anyone else in Washington does censorship in the United States. Like, you know, all these networks and PBS know not to talk about certain things.
And the other point is like everyone's like Putin. I mean, we have a huge infrastructure here that we're talking about. We're not talking about one man. I mean, Putin's got better things to do with his time than micromanage RT.
Exactly.
Well, think about this though. So it's Russian, you know, government-funded television. We have a system where it's not directly funded by, you know, the Democratic Party, but we have, you know, basically we all know, I mean, corporations are running most of our government and they're running our news. So really, it's almost at least more honest. But I think as far as whether it's strategic on Putin's part, I think it's convenient that it allows Americans, you know, that their voice, like Lee Camp and Ed Schultz and anybody that's critical, where they could never say that on American news. It conveniently looks favorable to Russia. I guess you could put it that way. But if you do watch anything like late at night, like when they just have not the American people on, like Ed Schultz and all that, if you just watch the like actual like international news on RT, I would say it definitely seems it's very slanted, like from Russia's point of view.
Yeah, I agree. They all have agendas. I mean, we should know that going in. But you know, they put out some good programming. You know, they're worth watching. You know, but just like any of the others, you just have to be aware that they have an agenda.
And I also think that the reason that they seem like they're treating Putin better is also because they aren't looking at it from the one-sided view of, oh my gosh, Russia and Putin are so evil, like the United States media and like CNN and MSNBC, who've been viewing it, you know, through the Democratic Party lens of Putin and Russia hacked the DNC, and so Putin's this awful guy who, you know, is like doing all these things. Like everyone's trying to blame Putin for the gay concentration camps in Chechnya. And it's like Russia has no control over Chechnya. The United States actually has more economic control over Chechnya than Russia does.
Yeah, it really makes me want to dig more into, you know, what's really going on in Russia with a lot of those things. I mean, I watched the Pussy Riot documentary, and I mean, I understand it's not a free place, and I have, you know, my Russian friend who left actually, I think before Putin was president, so in her 20s, but you know, doesn't have a positive view of Russia. But I really want to dig more and find out how much of this stuff that these beliefs we hold about it are just things that were spoon-fed to us. I mean, there's maybe some truth to some of it, and some of it, I don't know.
What if we're the ones that are asleep and the people that are...
Could be. Hey.
Here's what it's about perspective. So if you're, let's just say you're a counselor and you're counseling therapy for a couple. So you're watching Russia and America. Or wait, you're watching some other country and some other country, and it's just about perspective. So RT is a different perspective. Let's just say if South Africa decided to start chiming in, they would have a different perspective. So I don't really think Putin's got his finger And yes, there are agendas. Just definitely MSNBC, CNN. I mean, that's they even tell us on their shows who they're supporting and what they're doing. They don't hide. They're not even hiding. But as far as other countries chiming in, like when you watch Al Jazeera, it just seems like a different perspective. It's like a different camera looking in at a crazy ass country.
I think what allowed us to see through it and kind of get out of the Plato's cave is that when, I think all of us were watching Facebook and everything where people would go. I remember there was a woman in Arizona that was like videotaping. She went to some election office to say, look, here's my registration card and it's changed, and here I didn't change it, and so we all were watching all that like on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere, and then we would contrast that with what was being said on television, and we're going, what the fuck is going on here? So I think it was so eye-opening because we looked at multiple things. So that's the only way you can get to the truth, really, is to not ever, I guess, look at it from one perspective, right?
Yeah, I agree. Like, a lot of it is just different perspectives, and there is no, there isn't all this intrigue behind it that some people say there is.
Although some of it, do you mean like mainstream media?
Well, foreign media, like, they're always accusing RT of, doing this or that, when a lot of it is just perspective. They aren't really pushing an agenda, so to speak.
They're just showing it as it is. It's just,
they're just giving their perspective. Yep.
Yeah, same with Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is by far one of the most objective news networks I've ever seen, but yet they get this rap for being pro-Palestine and pro-Middle East, or pro like Iran and all that. And it's like, no, it's because they're looking at it objectively, whereas our media, our corporate media, tries to demonize certain nations over there, whereas they show you what the human rights abuses are actually happening because they're actually there.
Well, they have an argument and a position that they're putting forth, and it's up to us to interpret that and to look into it. I mean, they have every right to put forth a perspective without being accused of, trying to brainwash U.S. citizens or whatever the hell they accuse these networks of doing.
I just have to chime in here that CNN regularly has on the General James Spider Marks. Okay, that cat is on the advisory board for Tiger Swan, the company that's been doing the buying on No Dapple and everything. So when you're watching him talking about security issues, remember, he works for them. He works for different, all those guys work for large military contractors. So, it's not like the BBC is a national broadcasting system. There are lots of national broadcasting systems that are, do okay news or, somewhat okay news, depending on what you're watching them for.
Right.
It's like Ebon says, you got to keep on. You got to look at where the source is and, then decide.
By the way, today, before we keep going, today's Aeolus's birthday, so happy birthday.
Oh. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Right on.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aeolus. Happy birthday to you.
So how old is he, 40?
Early degree.
I have no idea.
Actually, I'm 23 now.
Wow.
That's awesome. I applaud you for being so informed on all this stuff at
What a
23.
freaking genius.
Yeah. Really.
Please, you guys overstated. I'm still learning just like anybody else here. I'm still in the process of reading through the books of my own political philosophy right now, so that not only that I can argue it effectively, but also so I understand what the implications of what I'm saying are.
Yeah.
But, the only thing good I can say about myself not being informed at all in my 20s was that I never voted for Clinton.
I voted for
I
Perot.
love it. I love it because when I was your age and younger, I mean, I was always really serious, and I was that way too. I wanted to know what was really important from a young age, so that's great.
I just didn't vote because I came from, my grandfather was a staunch Republican, my mother's side Canadian, believed in socialized medicine and all that, and I just didn't know where I stood, and I thought, if I don't know, why the hell should I vote? I didn't want to vote uninformed, but now I'm very proud that I never voted for Clinton. My first vote was for Ralph Nader.
Wow, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, well, see, I'm that weird kid because, see, I was the only 13-year-old where I'm from that was for Jill Stein in 2012. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's great.
Darn, yeah, that's great.
I did vote for Kerry, though.
Yeah, I
now
did
I'm
too.
kind of like, oh, why did I do that?
A lot of people did. They held their nose and they voted for him because Bush was so hated. I mean, that's just, the way it was.
And it turns out that when you when you elect people who are not actually, don't have any substance to them, people tend not to vote for those people. It's weird.
Well, Kerry, in my opinion, was another weak Democratic candidate. I mean, not as bad as Hillary, but still, it was one of those, Hubert Humphrey types with very little charisma and, just couldn't deeply connect with people.
And he was a war hawk.
Yeah.
I finally dug up this quote. I gotta get better at bookmarking these things. Okay, so this is from the Senate, June 21st. Okay, this is Schumer. I don't read the whole thing. Now, in a short time, the Trump administration is sending one of our most senior diplomats to Russia to meet with his Russian counterpart. Is the White House encouraging House Republicans to delay this bill so that they can offer the Russians something in their upcoming talks? We do not know. It sure seems possible, even likely, and it is a flat-out wrong approach. So it's just that kind of language, just like all this like speculation, and sort of accusations with no backing that just, I don't know.
Like, you said nothing. You literally said nothing. Nothing of substance there.
Here's the thing, that without like direct records of Trump's businesses, they can't make a direct an accusation from senators is norm, but they don't have the proof for things they know from rumor about Trump doing business dealings, and it's going to be one of those deals. It's going to be like Hillary Clinton, and they're all going to bitch about it, and maybe they'll get away with it because they've been fanning this Russia, McCarthyism. But it's going to be like Hillary Clinton. I mean, they got the way they have, unless they use like the emoluments clause, they could probably get them on that. But as far as just, it's going to be just dirty business dealings. It's the worst thing we're going to have, and it's not necessarily going to be illegal. That's the
right.
thing.
But see, if they pin that on, you had those illegal business dealings, it's still pinned on with the Russia that interfered with our democracy, when that is still not proven. I mean, even
exactly.
Sorry, I interrupted.
And that was my point, is that's what all the Russia stuff is about. It's got nothing to do with the fucking election. It's got everything to do with, they know from rumor and from a little bit of digging around that he's got, business dealings that are at least shady enough to bring him, to bring up.
But so here is the another thing that says in the congressional record here. It says, responding to Russia's assault on our democracy should be a bipartisan issue. Whoa, stop right there. What? Responding to Russia's assault on our democracy. Where's the evidence for that? But they're stating that as if it's fact. And then they keep going, just like you see the headlines, hacked election. And then everyone just assumes it's true. I just can't, I don't know.
That Jake Johnson hearing, I'm telling you, every senator on that on the Democratic side for that Jay Johnson hearing, that was their thing. We know that Russia has been involved all across Europe, and we know that they broke into the Dems servers.
Mm-hmm.
So trust me, they're pumping that up. But I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of there, and that. But it's all like you're saying, as long as you fanned the flames long enough and made it like there was some sort of shady thing going on during the election, even if there's no proof of it, as long as they can find a shady business dealing or shady looking, maybe totally legal, but shady looking.
Here's what I like about their strategic way of doing this. Basically, the source is someone inside the CIA or NSA, someone in the deep state. And if you don't trust them and you'd rather trust Russia, that's kind of a double jeopardy right there. Because first,
say that again?
Because the source that they say is that someone from inside the government, that's their source, and they don't want to reveal who it is saying that it was Russia, right? And so if you don't believe it's Russia or believe the source, you're also against trusting the government. So you're kind of in double jeopardy. One, you don't trust our government, and two, you don't think Russia did anything. So it's kind of smart the way they do things.
And I will lay you bets that the rumors and things they have about Trump came from people like Schumer, who's hooked into the New York businesses. And he knows, they all know about each other's crap. They just don't talk about it. It's like Fight Club, They all know what, they know that Donald Trump couldn't get any credit anywhere and had to go to Russia. They know that. So it's I don't know, pretty, I think that's going to be the cut and dried thing. And, that they also pump, like Bond's talking about they also say, well, the 17, security, intelligence agencies have backed them up, and or they'll use some number. Sometimes that one changes depending on who's speaking, but it's always some number of intelligence agencies has already confirmed all this information. So.
Did you guys see on Twitter a bunch of the David Brock Hillary supporters discovered that both of the Democratic primary candidates that are going against Paul Ryan supported Bernie in the primaries. So all the David Brock Hillary people have come out and said they're not going to vote in the Paul Ryan race. They're just going to let Paul Ryan win over the Bernie supporters.
Oh, jeez.
It just occurred to me, wouldn't it be fucking ironic and depressing if Donald Trump ends up getting led to the point of impeachment, but then gets off on the same excuse that was given for Hillary Clinton?
Well, remember, Richard Nixon was already under suspicion when he won in a landslide in 72. So, 72, yeah. So,
yeah.
Well, I have a lot more digging to do, and so I know we don't want to make Russia the topic every night, but
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, we do.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Russia.
Because I realized today that part of my problem, I've been feeling so like spread out mentally with all these stories. There's been so much going on, and I don't usually get that way with Twitter, even though there's 1,000 things coming at you. I'll kind of hone in on a couple, but has it not seemed like recent weeks is just nonstop? I mean, with so many different stories, I can't keep up.
What I suggest is New York Times. They're having a special, so you can get you can subscribe to New York Times for just $8 a month, instead of the usual $12 a month.
Oh,
I have
trying
cheaper
to sell
ways,
us
I have
something.
cheaper ways to line a bird feeder.
yeah. No, I
I'm not going
canceled
to
that.
subscribe to fake news.
I canceled that subscription in the primaries.
I like how they advertise it is make sure you're informed, and then they
Yes,
say
and
that.
the Washington Post. is
Make sure
like-
you're informed with fake news.
Yeah, it says whenever you said that, Ivana, I was on Twitter, and it actually came up right after you said that, and the New York Times sponsored it. It says journalism without compromise.
Yeah, and mine.
Wow.
It pops up now like you want, what does it say? Yeah, once you've looked at too many free articles, it pops up something like, you look like someone who wants real journalism or something like that. I'm like, yes, I do. Click.
Well, what the hell was that thing he just said about the New York Times?
Oh, the
Without what?
Oh, Lucas, what was that?
Journalism without what?
Without compromise. That's what it says.
Yeah, well, you can't compromise if you have no values.
True.
There you go.
You're already there. You're already there, so you're never compromising.
But anyway, I want to try to focus. I'm going to keep doing this with Russia, and I don't think he's going to answer me again, but I did have this McFall, former ambassador to Russia, answer me a few times. I'm wondering if I can get him again. It was like late at night.
Oh, great. You're just going to put us all into Oliver Stone camp. Thanks a lot, Kelley.
Oh.
Don't make me read his Wikipedia thing about his service to our country. And
right.
I'll tell you right now, in this country, you're not allowed to say one bad word about anything about the military, because God bless them, they're out there in the Middle East protecting me from people that are, the only people we've seen terrorist attacks from are our freaking neighbors. That they got sick of watching their countries, their old countries get bombed to shit and their relatives die. So and once again, if they were bombing, if I was just fresh from somewhere and they were bombing my country, I'd have a pretty shitty attitude about it too. I don't know how long I could keep from being like them.
Well, yeah, if I had a gang living and working out of the house next to me, and they were to shoot a rocket at that house next to me and kill my little brother, I'd turn into a terrorist, and I'd hunt down whoever's launching those bombs, and I'd fucking kill him.
Yeah, well, it's this logic. We're making more. We're making terrorists. We're manufacturing them. We're giving them weapons in Syria. We gave them weapons in Iraq. We made sure to leave all that nice hardware when that well-trained Iraqi army we had. Yeah, they left all their hardware so that, if the ones that didn't just drop their uniforms and, join, they all, just left their stuff and said, here you go, guys. Look at all.
I mean, ISIS isn't going anywhere for any time soon until we stabilize our presence in the Middle East. I mean, if you can't hold ground, you destabilize it.
Wow.
And it should show you something. It should show you something about American military equipment when they're still driving around in Toyota trucks with machine guns mounted in the back of them.
Well, we've been doing that kind of thing for decades by always, it's why we supported, the Middle East and gave them all the weapons back when we hated Russia more than we do now. We're always picking the lesser of two evils, thinking that it'll work out okay for us, and it never does. It doesn't work okay for us. It doesn't work okay for other people that have to put up with the fallout that are closer to it.
Well, the reason there's no moderates in the Middle East is because we gave weapons to the crazy so they could kill them all.
Sure. Yeah. The thing that I guess bothers me about all of the crappy fake stories and the lies and the manipulation and all the distractions is that all the time and energy and press and paper and news time that's spent on that means They're not talking about health care for us. They're not talking about clean water for us. They're not talking about helping people that really need it. Mental health, schools getting better. I mean, the things that are really important are constantly being shoved to the side. No, Russia's more important. Oh, it's like, no, I think the fact that I have to worry about the fact that if I get really sick or something happens to me, that I could lose my life savings, that's more freaking important to me. Sorry, but that's the main thing that I freaking lay awake and worry about, not whether some damn Russian's gonna bother me or some Muslim terrorist is gonna come. Oh, if you want to be safe, don't get in your car every day. How many people die from car accidents in America every single day, or cigarettes every single day, or alcohol? All those things together kill way more people every day than any terrorist could ever do.
Well,
yeah, the oil that Saudi Arabia is selling us, like Saudi Arabia, I wonder if it's like their grand plan is to sell us oil to kill us all rather than bomb us, because more people in America die from car accidents and air pollution than terrorism.
Yeah, but yet more people have this fear of that, but they get in their car without thinking twice. I think it's hilarious.
And I mentioned this before, but I think unfortunately we've reached a point with people now that the propaganda has been so successful that you can't get past one sentence.
Cognitive dissonance. That's what it is. Cognitive dissonance.
And I don't know. That's unfortunate. Because I don't know how you can't reason with someone.
That's like aunt. My aunt fell into the Rush Limbaugh foxhole 20 years ago, and all she can watch is Fox News, and she only listens to Rush Limbaugh radio. She only watches Fox News on TV, and she only reads Breitbart online. And she is like so far gone that it's just so difficult to have a conversation with her. Like the only time that she'll talk to me is whenever I'm bashing Hillary Clinton. Like that's like it.
All right, 2 more movies.
Oh,
Rambo 3 about Afghanistan. Wait, Rambo 3 and Charlie Wilson's War, because Charlie Wilson's War is about he's a congressman, Texas congressman that got us into the Afghanistan war. That got us into arming the Afghanis.
Okay.
Yeah, Rambo 3 is hilarious to watch now. I went back and watched it. It's hilarious.
Hilarious?
Yeah, like these people are painted as these pious, these young pious freedom fighters, the Soviet madman commander is like, he's off the hook. It's crazy. I'd recommend watching it again.
Yeah. Rambo rides around with the Mujahideen playing a game of drag the dead goat around. Yeah, it's great.
Why is it the goat that always gets it in the end?
Probably because goats are the reason that we have the deserts aren't growing back over in the Middle East.
Oh man.
So I wanted to bring up another thing. I'm trying to pull up so I have my dates right. And again, this is going to be like my project now for the foreseeable future. I'm just digging into all the Russia stuff. But in that congressional record, something else was said. I believe that was also Chuck Schumer about Russia's, buzzing our planes. Well, just recently there was something. It was a NATO jet, came really, really close to a Russian plane, and it had like a Russian, maybe somebody important. Hold on a second. Okay, there was something, a Russian fighter jet flies 5 feet from a U.S. aircraft. I think that was Baltic Sea. Okay, here. NATO fighter jets, buzz plane carrying Russia's defense minister.
Yeah, they've got video of it.
Yeah, Jimmy Dore was talking about that today. Okay. He was talking about how insane it is, and like how we were, probably about 5 feet away from World War III at that moment.
Well, and the biggest disappointment in all of this, I have to say, is that Bernie, his clarification on that vote that he was for the Russian sanctions. So I can't let that go. I don't know how the rest of
that is, yeah, I was really heartbroken to hear Bernie say that, because it's the people in Russia are struggling just like the people in the United States, like, because they have a crony capitalist government just like we do. Doesn't give a shit about them. It doesn't give a shit about, it's all like that. Russia's government is a giant oil company with an army just like here, and it's like Putin. I don't know if you have watched the Putin interviews.
Yes.
But it's like, on one hand, it's like very humanizing, and it brings him down to earth a lot, and doesn't make him, like, because like all the media here would have you believe he's this monster, whereas he's just a human with a sense of humor and flaws, But at the same time, the way he's like very solemn when it comes to nuclear weapons, it's like, you understand, you can like get the feeling from him that he doesn't want that, but that if that were to happen, he'd go all in. And so it's kind of like, please, the United States, don't fuck this up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of how he's viewed from here, do you guys remember, it was sometime in the spring, and I don't remember if it was an Atlantic Monthly or Newsweek, maybe it was Newsweek, but they had basically a depiction of Putin on the cover. And it was like all, of course, black and red. And he had like red eyes. I mean, he literally looked like some demon. Just
it was probably Newsweek, because Newsweek was bought like a decade ago, and it's just been going like insanely far right, and now they're a joke.
That's just
yeah. I mean, we should have no illusions about who Putin is. Don't get me wrong; he's not the demon people make him out to be. But everyone's always talks about his KGB history, but never talks about his history with Gazprom. And if you want to read something interesting, read about that. Read about how he had controlling interests in Gazprom at one point, and traded power through that.
Okay, I'll be looking that up. But one of the things that I said this last night, one of the arguments that just doesn't get me is like, okay, his people are oppressed and LGBTQ, right? Whatever. I get that, but we're really going to go there. Look at how we treat our own citizens.
Yeah.
So,
when it comes to the LGBT thing in Russia, it really is not that different from here. Like, if they want to get married over there, they can. Like, there is no laws that legalize discrimination against them there. There is one law that it can be viewed as anti-LGBT, and basically it says that they don't want LGBT, like they don't want like what they consider over in Russia, like in the parliament or government or Congress, whatever, what they consider to be homosexual propaganda to minors.
Yes.
So they're saying that they don't want them to brainwash kids to be gay.
We're really
that's basically the only thing.
1950s, aren't we?
And I mean, it's terrible, but that's the only thing that exists over there, legal, like in legislation wise. And we're acting like they're the ones, like we're acting like they're just like Chechnya, when in reality they're not. They're very much like the United States, just maybe behind by like 50 years.
But you know what? This is, like I kind of got everybody's dander up talking about healthcare once. I do have some conservative views, I realize, and it usually comes in regards to parenting stuff. And so I heard Putin say that in the Putin interviews, and he was like, we just have these anti-propaganda laws to minors. And while I don't agree with that, I think that it's good to teach kids from a young age that, that's normal, acceptable, and not have bias against that. I personally, as a parent, have a problem with a lot of things that are depicted, whether it's gay, straight, or whatever, that I think is a little bit too TMI for kids, or whether it's sexual stuff or violent stuff. Ivana, we talked about this once, but it's a very it's always been a weird position for me because I'm so progressive on a lot of other issues that I've always been at odds with other parents wherever we've lived on this topic, because I just feel like kids should be kids, and there's a certain time for that, and it's not when they're 9. Like I think they should be allowed to be kids, and I screen things that my daughter watches, and it's not that I don't want her to be accepting of I don't know. I think it
I
can
get
go
it.
too far with liberal entertainment, sexual and violent, and kids are being exposed to that. And a lot of parents aren't screening it. A lot of parents, they're both working. Kids are at home watching God knows what on their iPad.
Oh yeah,
And that's where I differ from.
My sister. She, I don't really get along with her very well. She's very different from me, but she moved in with this guy who has a daughter, and this kid, she's young. I mean, she's like 8 or 9 years old, and she had these really trashy parents who were letting her watch, like, I mean, just R-rated horror movies, gory stuff. You know, and when I was a kid, you know, I could say that my parents were probably a little too conservative on a lot of things, mostly because they were very religious. They've changed quite a lot. Now they come to my astrology classes. So there you go. I mean, it's very different. But back then, yeah, they were very traditional, very conservative. We didn't see, you know, I don't think I went to a PG rated movie till I was like 12, 13, something like that, you know. But yeah, I don't feel like it ruined
Time, sorry.
So who's just joined with the 215 area code? Is that you, Kat?
Yes, that's me from Philadelphia.
All right.
Hello.
Awesome.
Uli.
Philadelphia.
Hello.
Oh, is that
Oh,
Uli?
Shirley.
I just wanted to say RT is located in Washington, D.C. for RT America.
Right.
Because when somebody was being questioned, testifying in Congress, and said, "Oh, we don't know where they're located." And I'm like, "What the hell are they talking about? They in D.C."
That's funny. All right.
And they're all American journalists.
Yes.
So I found out a couple of things on there, like North Carolina. Well, Jordan Sheridan from TYT reported on DuPont dumping chemicals in their drinking water in North Carolina. But I found out on RT in another part of North Carolina, there's a pig farm out there dumping the waste in their water.
Yeah, Lee Camp covered that.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to switch to anything goes. So everyone stay on, and I'm just switching it to anything goes. All right.